Okay, what is up, YouTube? It's your favorite transparent YouTuber, Transparent Hoodie, back at it again with another video. This time it's going to be Street Fighter related. So for the most part, like I do love the franchise of Street Fighter. We're going to be talking about Street Fighter 5, and we're going to be talking about the most likely news that we're going to be getting sometime this month during their first major. So I think their first major is sometime around the 8th to the 10th. So I'm expecting news on the 10th for Season 4 of Street Fighter 5. And these are some of the things that personally I would like to see within. Let me lower this a little bit. Alright, my fault. So these are some of the changes that I personally would like to see when it comes to Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 4. When it comes to Street Fighter 5, and some of the changes I would like them to show us and do for Season 4 of Street Fighter 5. There we go. Getting my sentences all together. But, like I was saying, the first thing I would love to see them do when they are going to reveal the news for us is, I mean, if they give us another cinematic trailer like what they did for Season 3, I mean, that's fine and dope. I kind of doubt it though, only because like I think the reason why they only did this cinematic trailer was kind of to promote the arcade edition of the game. So, if anything, I would love them. The first thing for them to reveal is definitely the 6 characters, or maybe 5 characters, because technically Kage is the first one, right? But it would be dope for them just to reveal the characters that we're going to be getting for Season 4. Obviously, they could potentially do the whole silhouette thing again, like for another season. But honestly, I don't know about you guys, but like when it comes to DLC characters, I personally prefer just to get them and see them right off the jump, so we know who we can prepare for. We could kind of like prepare our wallets so that we know who we want to buy. Kind of like with Season 3, like for the most part, they kind of just showed us all the characters that we were getting, and honestly, I wasn't upset about it. I haven't heard much people upset about it either, them showing us all the characters, because we had like a decent and good idea about who we were getting and who we were rooting for and who we couldn't wait for, you know, like it felt pretty nice. It felt pretty good. So if anything, that's the first thing I do want them to reveal is the characters. If they have a cinematic trailer, it is what it is. You know, they probably want to show off these characters, and that's fine. But yeah, definitely show us all the characters that we're going to be getting. Another thing that I would love to see happen, and this doesn't have to happen right away. This is something that I just like to see within Street Fighter in general from the future onwards. If they could start with Street Fighter 5, that would be dope. But the number one thing though is like I would prefer better update cycles. And when I say better update cycles is right now when it comes to the scheduling for updates, it's kind of all over the place. Don't get me wrong, like I'm not inconsiderate. I'm not like ignorant to the idea that it does take time for certain things to change mechanically when it comes to Street Fighter. People kind of dub it as simple as just you change a code and that's pretty much solving your issues. No, when it comes to coding and when it comes to just changing a game fundamentally code-wise, it takes way more time, and it has to do with a lot more stuff than just simply changing this one code to another code to fix all the issues that the game could potentially have, because you don't know what hiccups that kind of sequence could do to a whole code. So if anything, I would like it if Street Fighter can have just better update cycles schedules. So let's say for instance like character updates, right? For the most part, when it comes to characters that we are getting for the game, they come every bi-month. So I'll use February for an example. If we get a character February, we'll get the next character in April. That's usually how that goes when it comes to characters for Street Fighter. That's how they release them, and that's how we known for them to be released, right? So when it comes to updates, and it doesn't necessarily have to just be characters, but balance changing, feature updates, netcode stability, like I wish they would have like a better update cycle for those as well, where maybe every other month they'll just throw a patch in the game. Maybe every other 2 months they'll throw a patch in the game. Because my thing though is just like, you shouldn't wait until maybe like costumes come out, or you shouldn't wait until like a character comes out just to throw in some updates. Like, or you guys quote unquote do like emergency updates. I feel like if you want to just play catch up or put yourself in a better position than just having to throw out updates whenever something massive happens, just throw out updates periodically. Like I know they do that currently, but it's more sporadic where it's not a scheduled thing. if I feel like if it's more of a scheduled thing, then they can prepare themselves, and us as like the fighting game community that plays this game constantly, or for those people that play this game constantly, whether it's casually or competitively, like we have an idea of, oh, they're going to be releasing an update at this time, or they're going to be releasing an update at that time, and we don't necessarily have to wait for like Capcom Unity, which they do an amazing job updating us, and event hubs as well. Like they do an awesome job updating us when it comes to when these updates are going to be rolled out. But I feel like it would just be a little bit easier if everything was just on like a more cleaner schedule. But obviously that's kind of hopeful and wishful thinking. Something like that is definitely going to be hard to execute. So like I'm not beating myself over the head about it. I would just prefer something like that to happen. The next thing I definitely want to see come out of season 4 of Street Fighter V is on the casual side, because me myself, like I mostly play this game online and offline. Like I'll say like there's a good balance of both when it comes for me. A lot of people just play strictly offline. I don't know how though, but people do play the game offline only. And you have the majority of the people that stick with Street Fighter play this game online. My thing though is like to cater a little bit to like the offline community that just plays this game kind of casually, don't want to play this game seriously at all. What happened to fight money? Like, I don't know if they fixed it, changed it, or reincorporated back into the game some way or shape, but fight money is kind of dry, like super dry. And it's kind of discouraging, whereas just like, I did miss the older builds of Street Fighter where you were able to earn fight money to potentially just pick up and purchase some of the things that were available in the game. Especially since when it comes to online play and just online games in general, you don't really get enough fight money for it. So it kind of does suck, and it kind of does leave me demotivated to really do anything else besides play online or do like extra battle. And I understand that extra battle is technically made for you to get your fight money, but I do miss the options or the variety of options that were used to help you get fight money. Like I've been speaking about this for a while now. Well, just to friends and just to like people that I'm close to, and just to hear what their thoughts on it could be. But basically, why don't you take some of the current online, or not online, but some of the offline modes that you guys currently have, and the modes that you took away gaining fight money for, why don't you incorporate like maybe a new or unique way to gain fight money for those particular modes? Like I remember I had this little idea for survival mode where you gain survival mode points throughout your survival mode run, right? And depending on how much survival mode points you earn, you can use those points to get yourself supplements to either help you complete survival mode a little bit faster, or supplements to just overall increase your health or increase your damage. So my thing though is, at the end of your survival mode run, you are left with like a handful of points that you just have. Like, these survival mode points do not affect the game in any way for you. They do not change anything for you. Heck, I don't even think there's a leaderboard for survival mode points, and that's not what I'm going at. Like, I don't care for a leaderboard for survival mode points. I can't speak. For survival mode points, but I think it would be cool if they had a conversion system. So like, for instance, for survival mode, why don't have a conversion system for survival mode points to fight money? I think that would be cool. Like, maybe every 100 survival mode points you get like 1 fight money for it. And the more you use the conversion system, the more the cost will be. So like, maybe after you probably get maybe 100k fight money using your survival mode points, they'll increase the cost. So instead of 1 fight money being like 10 or like 100 survival mode points, it could be like 1,000 or 100 survival mode points that you have to cost just to get 1 fight money. You know, like, stuff like that would be a little cool, and you'll give some of these game modes that feel like it has nothing to really offer anymore something to offer, because now we're gaining fight money from them. Because I feel like at this point in time, like, the only real fun functionality that Street Fighter has right now is its online mode. Just being able to train and practice and test out new characters with other players, whether they're your friends or randoms online. That's the only thing that they really have to offer. Offline mode just feels so bare bones. Like, arcade mode is still a thing that you can grind and something that you could play on your spare time, but even arcade mode kind of have its limitations, where it's just like, it only offers you concept art, not even a new or different cinematic cutscene for these characters and their story that I think Street Fighter is trying to tell. Because personally, to me, like, when it comes to story and just showing love to these characters for what they are as characters, not just functionalities in the game where this character functions like that or that character functions like this. When it comes to characters and like what we love about these characters, it just isn't there for these guys. Like, we do have the story mode that's in the game for them, whether they're epilogues or like prologues, it's not really clear, but we do have that. But they really don't ever go into depth about some of these like more nitty gritty things that we want to know about some of these characters. Like, do Sakura end up with Ryu? I mean, if you guys are into that whole pairing thing, what is the nature of like Manat's and Rose's relationship? Like, what is G connection to Q? Like, some of these things could have been like neat or little cool tidbits or like cinematic cutscenes that they could have added in the arcade mode for us to find out. You know, like, I'm not saying that I'm taking the story mode that they already given us for granted, but you know, the story mode themselves are very bare bone, and the cinematic story mode kind of does its own thing that doesn't necessarily ties into any of these characters directly. So it's kind of off-putting. So yeah, like, I would love to see in Season 4 of Street Fighter just more appealing fight money options. Like, I would love for them just to overhaul the system altogether, bring it back, and revamp it a little bit. Because it is to a point where you're better off kind of just buying everything. Like, I mean, you could technically still grind it out. You know, like leveling up your characters for experience, doing the extra battles. If you get the CPT pass, there's fight money along with that. But like, going through all those different strenuous things just to get yourself fight money, and the bare minimum that they offer with each individual fight money is kind of just like, you're better off just buying it. I mean, that's not the best opinion. I'm pretty sure people will still say like, nah dude, definitely just still grind it out. It's still better than having to pay for it. But it pushes you to that brink where if you don't have that time or that level of just free time to play a game like this, to grind out that 100k for a character, or maybe I think it's 10k for a stage, or is it still 100k for a stage? Either or, is like, you don't have the time, so you're just better off just buying it off jump. So that's kind of the thing that kind of sucks about it. And the next thing I want, which I already briefly talked about, is revamping the single player options. So this is character stories, arcade mode, and survival mode. So I already talked about arcade mode and survival mode for the most part, being able to do a little bit more with both of those, whether it's just giving us fight money just for completing them, or just adding cutscenes to arcade mode just to make it a little bit more, you know, nuance. Like, I feel like that's what arcade mode is missing. I do appreciate that they're giving us concept art, but for the most part, you can get the majority of concept art. I think you can get the majority of concept art from, I think it's Lucky Chance, that little like loot box system that they have in the game with Manat. I think you can get concept art through there. I don't know if the concept art to arcade mode is unique to arcade mode, so I don't know. So hopefully they do give us fun things and just new things when it comes to arcade mode and survival mode. Like, I would love to see like maybe hidden ladders with arcade mode. If you're able to defeat this enemy and that enemy, you'll unlock like a secret boss. Like, I would love to see something like that in arcade mode. Like secret bosses, unique conditions to unlock certain things, you completing a sequence of conditions, like maybe getting a couple of perfects, KOing a opponent, or KOing your opponent with like a ultimate, or just doing a set number of XE moves, like EX moves. Doing a set number of EX moves will land you maybe special items, or maybe like you get to unlock a secret character boss, like stuff like that, just to make the overall experience a little bit more enjoyable and just fun to go through. The only thing I really ask for story mode is an update, you know, like whether it's through arcade mode that they do it, or they'll just give us a whole other story for some of these characters. I think that would be dope. I understand, like, for the most part, when it comes to Street Fighter, a lot of it now, people don't really see Street Fighter much for its story, but more for its like its gameplay. Like, people focus and talk about the game for what it is as a game. But like a lot of the fans like myself that just like really gravitated towards Street Fighter, not because it was like an amazing game, but they just I gravitated towards a lot of the characters that I saw within the series, and you know, this backstory and history. Like, I would really wish that they could show that aspect of Street Fighter some love as well, where they actually dive into some of the characters a little bit more. So yeah, like I really would love to see that. But not just, I don't want to just see them revamp single player options. I do want to revamp some of the online options as well. Like, I I know I heard like Vesper Arcade talk about this like way back. I want to say like a months ago, like a long time ago. But like online team battles, like something like that would definitely be fun to do. Like, you know, like you for other people, you and your chat could probably like interact with one another. You and your friends can all get together on Street Fighter and just have team battles, and you know, the best out of whoever gets the most W's is the best. Like, you know, like stuff like that is kind of like engaging. You can talk your smack, you can talk your trash, and then, you know, it's a fun and enjoyable experience, you know? Also, online training mode wouldn't be bad. Like, as much as I do love a lot of the changes that they've done to training mode, just to make you be able to reenact certain situations in the fight, not every single situation could be reenacted with the system that they've given us, or like it's more easier just to have a buddy online and just having him do some of the things that you just need him to do on cue, you know? Like, I feel like situations like that would be better. Plus, you really can't fight the dummy because the dummy is kind of, or you really can't fight the CPU because the CPU is obviously a computer. So even having that CPU at a higher level, you're really not going to learn too much only because it's a computer. You're not fighting computers when you go online, you're fighting other human beings. So training mode could give you that opportunity to at least have a battle with your friends where it's not going to be a one-off match. You guys can have a continuous match, I guess, where none of you guys lose health, and then you guys can genuinely just test each other out, move by move and skill by skill. Also, and this is just like a personal thing for me, I know they have the whole invite system via CFN, right, where you can invite someone via the gamer, where their fight ID, that's what it's called, fight ID. That's all cool, but I kind of hope for season 4 that they just give us the option just to invite our friends via PSN name. I don't know if that's in the game or not. I never really dabbled much with like inviting people. I just usually just invite my bros through CFN, but you know, some people that I just play like Street Fighter with, whether it's just through stream or just people that tell me like, hey, I own Street Fighter, you mind like inviting me? Like, I really just hope like, or I really just prefer just to send them an invite with their PSN name, like not have to go through the whole CFN fight ID thing. Like, it's kind of meh. Also, another thing I would love to see from season 4 of Street Fighter is definitely like DLC incentives, because I feel like at this point, like, overall I do get it. So buying costumes, buying costume packs is overall there to support the game and its development, right? But like, I would love to see that the developers give us more of an incentive to want to buy some of these DLCs. Like, right now, currently, they have CPT DLC used for allowing you to gain more fight money, giving you cool options, like, you know, yeah, allowing you to gain more fight money, allowing you to gain colors. Like, it's pretty much a bundle pack. You get a lot of stuff when it comes to the CPT costume pack, and you get a stage as well. Not saying that DLCs that's regular costumes need to do all that, but it would be dope if they offer you like at least fight money when you buy a DLC pack. Like, for example, if you buy a DLC pack, they can give you extra challenges via your dailies for Street Fighter V, like, oh, use this costume X amount of times and you get set amount of fight money, or use this costume with this character set amount of times, you get this amount of fight money. You know, like, incentives like that would make it more pleasing to actually buy some of these DLCs, or heck, for the people that just automatically buy some of these DLCs, that would be a little bit more appeasing. Also, it gives them the opportunity to gain some fight money so they could just buy and earn, or buy and get stuff via fight money and not always have to spend, you know, like glass half full type of mentality. But yeah, that's pretty much, well, obviously the last thing I could say is, you know, for the people that do still have this issue, you know, you can always make the netcode tighter. But for the most part, like I say, like, I really don't play online too much, and when I do have matches, for the most part, those matches aren't really all that laggy unless I'm fighting someone like in Guatemala or like Indonesia. Like, if I'm fighting someone like super far, then obviously I'm going to experience lag. But if I keep it, you know, home turf around my area, not too far, like, I really don't experience much lag. But I guess it never hurts to just tighten up the netcode a little bit just so people can have a nicer and smoother experience. But I honestly don't think people really have much problems online when it comes to lag. But I could be wrong. If you're having lag issues, definitely let me know. But yeah, those are some of the things I personally would love to see in Street Fighter 4. Ugh, I keep saying Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 4 is in my mind for some reason. Those are some of the things I would love to see in Street Fighter 5 Season 4. Not very personally, I don't think it's a demanding list. I think the list for the most part is reasonable. I don't expect us to get any of these right away, if they even are planning to incorporate any of the things I've mentioned in this list. But if anything, like, I love to see this maybe incorporated in Street Fighter 6, and maybe like down the line for Street Fighter 5, they're still planning on supporting it, because I feel like a lot of people has completely jumped ship from Street Fighter 5, and I don't know, like, that's not really, it's not good or cool, because you're kind of dealing with a situation where you have a game where it has a lot of potential, but you're just going to drop it in the trash because it's not doing well. No, like, I think that's a terrible mentality to have. Like, if we have a game that has the potential, and right now it's been a couple of hiccups here and there for the game, we should at least try to figure out what this game needs and improve upon the game before we move on to the next game. Because at the end of the day, we can't have something that's out and that's incomplete technically in a sense, and then we're just moving on to another game which more or less might have the same problems and issues like Street Fighter 5. So might as well fix, perfect Street Fighter 5 as much as we possibly can before 6 comes out, because I think the lifespan for Street Fighter 5 is probably 2020, maybe 2021, I don't know. So that's the lifespan for Street Fighter 5. And before we move on to Street Fighter 6, I feel like we should really get our bearings. Like, make sure 5 is good before we move on to another Street Fighter and potentially have the same issues that we have with 5 in 6. So yeah, that's my list. Let me know what you guys think. Comment down below, what changes would you like to see for Season 4 of Street Fighter. Let me know if you agreed or disagreed with any of the changes I personally would like in Street Fighter, or if I missed anything. Like I said before, if you guys wanted any changes, let me know. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys checking out the vid. You guys take care.